having an amazing month so far, and I'm so excited to announce all these lives that have been changed. Let's see. Let me look right here. I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the Boom Empire coaches that have hit Success Club so far this month. And don't forget, guys, we still have until tomorrow. So don't give up yet, right? So far this month, and some of these numbers might have changed. This was actually last updated by my assistant on Friday. So if you've changed more lives since then and you want to put it in the comments, that's okay too, or not, whichever. So Kerri Steelman Schmidt with 20, John Houston with 12, myself with 12, Valerie Nelson, I said John, sorry, Kerri. Valerie Nelson with 8, Michelle Katz with 6. We have Tara Hansberg with 6. We have, let's see, Randy Olfont with 4. Katie May with 4, Shannon Coleman with 4, Lauren Owens with 2, Megan Gutenberg with 6. Top recruiters this month, we have myself with 7, Michelle Katz with 4, Bailey Glazer, it says 2, I think that one's wrong. I think it's more than that. Kerri Steelman with 2, Kristen Garvin with 2, Megan Gutenberg with 4, Lisa McCloskey with 2, new coach, congratulations on that. And we have Valerie Nelson with 1. We also have Coach of the Week, Lori Chinchilla, who dived into her 7-day quick start and gave birth yesterday. So, wow, Lori Chinchilla killing it and giving birth in the same week. That was awesome. So, congratulations to Lori, who also is my neighbor. So, hey, girl. Also, I wanted to give a shout out before we turn it over to the Fit Crew recognition. We have some awesome coaches that have qualified for our Diamond Retreat, which is in October. I know there's been a lot of messages going around about it. There's a lot of people kind of teaming up for rooms. Nothing is set in stone for rooms yet, so nobody panic. Kerri and I are actually going to be talking about that over the next couple of days and figuring out if we can do conjoining rooms and things like that. So nobody freak out yet. If you are not in a room with one of with Kerri or myself, we will figure it out so we are all together, conjoining rooms all together. So nobody freak out yet because I got a couple of messages on that. So far, the qualifiers for that are Bailey, I don't have the last names on here, so Glazer, Michelle Katz, Kerri Steelman, John and Heidi Houston, Joyce, Katie May, myself, Valerie Nelson, Megan Gutenberg. I know Lisbeth, you're getting really close, so keep rocking, girl. And then my mom. So wow, that's exciting. We have all sorts of people that are qualifying for that retreat, and I'm going to turn it over quick to Kerri Steelman.
I like the idea of conjoining with your mom. This sounds like it's going to be really fun. Okay, team, we're changing lives with the Fit Crew. We've got people changing lives. We've got Allie, Delilah, Kirsty, Shelby, Hillary, Craig. Well done, Mr. Schmidt. And Carrie Lear. Changing 2 lives this month, we have Hope Hernandez and Kelly Lynn. Changing 6 lives this month, we have John freaking Houston. Whoop, 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 whoop. We've got, I've changed 10 lives, and Bailey freaking Glancer has changed the lives of every human being who she's come across. So, well done, ma'am. Baby.
Well done. That is awesome. Congratulations, guys. And I just have 3 little quick house cleaning tips before I announce our speaker. I know that Kerri has an awesome coaching university going on right now. I also have our coaching university going on right now. We also have an extra learning opportunity for you guys with our Emerald and Diamond trainings. So check into that. But please remember that you definitely don't want to overwhelm yourself. Do what you can do. Workouts first, personal development, drink your Shakeology. We are throwing so much information at you guys, and I just want you to be mindful that you don't need to learn everything in a day. Take what you need and leave the rest, but there's a lot of great opportunities out there. Also, we have Coaching University, and 2 weeks out, I don't know what that note was, so never mind on that. All right, so we have an awesome speaker tonight, and I am so excited that We have Wendy Jo Spencer on our call tonight. We actually connected with Wendy. I think the first time I met her, I was actually a new coach. Where were we, Kerri?
I was in the bar. I think the first.
Were we in Florida? We were somewhere with you for a week. I just remember that. We were at the first Team Boom retreat in Delray Beach, where we met somewhere in Mexico. I don't know, guys. It all starts to run together. Really, my whole life is just like running together lately. But we met her, and she is such a breath of fresh air, such an inspiration. And she is been a coach since November of 2013. She is a 2-time elite coach, 6-figure earner in 17 months. So that's huge. Congratulations, girl. Single mom of 3 little itty bitties, a college athlete, a marathoner, CrossFitter, yogi, a 7-star, 2-star diamond in 3 business centers, which is amazing. Light worker, I love that. And a certified nutrition junkie in so many different areas, which means she is a hope giver, life changer, and badass. So I'm going to turn it over to Wendy, and we'll let you take it away, girl.
Doesn't it always feel so weird to have people say things like that? You're like, yeah, it's true, but I'm always the one that likes to give it versus receive anything. So thanks for having me on, guys. It's been a while since I've been able to physically connect with you guys, and it used to be all the time. So this is awesome for me, and I love seeing all your faces in here. I'm trying to think when we met. I met Pat at leadership because I qualified for leadership my first year. I literally went from 1-star to 6-star in 2 months. And so I skipped the new leader conference, and they put me right at leadership. And Pat was somehow on our beach Olympic team. They do all these goofy things. And so, that's when I met Pat, and he introduced me to all of you guys, and now here we are. So I wanted to talk a little bit about approaching the business in maybe a different way than what you see or what you've been taught, because I think it's awesome to lead with numbers. And Marie and I actually got into this conversation when someone posted in your group, hey, here's my awesome message that I'm reaching out to all these people. And I was like, wow, that's great, but do you know them first? And Marie and I got talking about is it something that people are doing this and they're killing it, right? But is there still another approach to the business that you can attract people to you, magnetism, energy-wise, without having to spend any money on Facebook ads, with keeping it real, and then with that connection? Because if you really connect with people on a higher level, they're not going anywhere. You will not have that high turnover rate. I think I had it was a really high transition. I think that's why I moved so quickly. And it was something over an 80% retention rate of coaches growing in my first 2 years in the business. And that's just why it kept getting so much bigger and faster. So let me start my slideshow. Some of this might be I have to preface that, a little woo-woo or a little bit not masculine, right? Not here's your numbers, here's your hey girl, here's this. So with that being said, it's going to take some work on your own. I am going to lay it out for you, but this comes from you. If you want to attract your people and have your business grow in a really authentic and organic way, you have to show you that maybe you weren't as comfortable doing before. All right. So just recognize that and just be open to it. I guess that's what I'm asking you to do, is just to be open and try it out and see how it feels. Okay. Let me screen share. We want this one. Okay. Let me make it bigger. 1 second. Is it showing up on your guys' screen?
Yes.
Yes.
So like I said, this is attraction marketing. Thanks, guys. Keeping it real. I wanted to say keeping shit real without paying for Facebook ads, but I thought this might be a more appropriate message. So really what I want to start with is you're not here to blend in, and your business shouldn't either. I think so many coaches, especially newer coaches or coaches who go through things in life, you feel like your business looks like everyone else's. You're all working out, you're all drinking your Shakeology, you're all hopefully reading your personal development. And so you feel like, especially if you have other coaches who are friends, you all kind of look the same. And, maybe you don't have this really sad story, right? That makes everyone, want to listen to you, or, you weren't homeless and that's why you're building this business, or you haven't been through some major tragedy. And so you feel like my story is the same as everyone else's. But obviously we all know that, that's not life and that's not who you are. So let's, move into that. Let me move this up a little bit. Okay. So being in this Beachbody world also made me recognize, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, my desire to want to fit in, to be liked, to feel like I'm part of this community of women. And what if it was, because, being like an athlete and also an engineer, you don't really fit in anywhere. And a lot of Beachbody, again, is like this sorority feel. Teen Boom's really good at not having that, but still there's like a level of community in Beachbody that you want to feel like you fit in. And so then there's that level of, what if I'm not part of a community, or what if people don't like my work? And then what if I fail? So I wanted to talk to you about this because I feel like so many of us feel it, but then we don't talk about it. When we make it about hitting numbers and conversations, and then we feel less than if we're in there and you get burned out or not seeing the success that is possible. So, I think it's really important to look through it that way. Okay. So I also need to preface this really quickly. It's awesome if you're killing it. It's awesome if you're hitting all the numbers and you are helping a ton of people and you're feeling in flow. It's part of why I've been an elite coach. It's why I've been able to build, teams that are in the top, 1% of Beachbody year after year. But if you can't be authentic and congruent in your message, it becomes really difficult to keep up that pace and that slideshow of, just the best stuff on social media. So much less take care of yourself at the same time. Everyone has been sold to on social media and they're wary. So this is the way that they want to get to know you and get connected. So let's talk about me just for a second so you guys can see that maybe I'm not like everyone else, but at the same time, we're all very similar, right? So I was a college athlete and an engineer. I just mentioned that. I moved from Chicago. I was at a Northwestern med school program. And I got pregnant and moved to Michigan, like rural Southwest Michigan, had my first baby at home, and then had my second baby at home 17 months later. And then my kid's dad literally said, I want to move to Wyoming and run a cattle ranch. And so I went from Chicago med school to Michigan and two moms, and Wyoming, population 75 in a matter of like 2 years, you guys. So my life had this huge transition really quickly. I had our third, I actually started my Beachbody business because I couldn't really lose that last 15 pounds of baby weight. I was super wary of it because I was a college athlete, like jumping around my living room. People don't get results with that stuff, right? And so I started, and then I immediately saw how, wow, this could be a way for me to not just be that stay-at-home mom that loves my kids, but I kind of am bored of my life. So I started and then found out a week later, I was 6 weeks pregnant with my third. So I had a 1 and a 2-year-old, and I'm pregnant, living in population 75. And the business kind of gave me something to all of a sudden like feel alive again, right? And so for me, I wanted to pay for Shakeology, and then it took off. And so like Marie said, it was 17 months where I was a 6-figure earner, and that, I guess that first full year is the year we hit elite, and then we hit elite again. We moved back to Michigan, and I became a single mom within 2 months. So I became a single mom when I had an 8-month-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and still made it going with my business. And Marie and I actually talked about this today because sometimes I think when you're moving through some hard stuff, people will judge you for not falling into the hole of life, right? For not getting into that swirl and saying, oh, my life is so hard. Why, they're like, well, why don't you focus on your life versus doing this business? And I think what's important to recognize is this business can become your lifesaver, like your life raft in that sense, where serving other people and pouring your heart brings you that joy to keep going, to bring that next step forward. And so it's been important to me to create a community and then to consistently be, you know, trying to find other ways to learn, to share, to create that magnetism. I was in the Quarter Force test group. That's huge. I'm a big personal development junkie. So Tony Robbins, Gabby Bernstein, I've been doing a lot of Kundalini lately. The yogi kind of stuff has really kind of taken over the CrossFit. So that's been awesome. And then I've been able to travel the world because of Beachbody. I went to Fiji for 2 weeks with the Tony Robbins event. I literally feel like this business has brought so much to my life and to my family's life that you always keep paying it forward, because you never know that there might be someone else who needs this just as much as you do. So that's the other part. Like, don't hesitate to share because you think you're being selfish. I always tell my team, you're being unselfish by sharing, because people need this more than you know. Okay, so now let's talk about not me anymore. So if you think about organic growth, I need to move this over here. It's like totally distracting me. The focus today is organic growth. So if you can be in alignment with your energy, your content, you can speak so that people will listen. All right. So if you speak when people listen, then they don't have as much of the hesitation of, should I buy this? Do I not know if I should buy this or not? Because they know you, they like you, they trust you. And then it's a yes. The yes comes so much faster. And then there's not that transition of, I'm in for 72 hours, or I'm not getting immediate results, so I'm quitting and I'm out. There's a level of loyalty and trust that's associated with that. So this window keeps like popping into my way. So we're going to kind of set it up as goals today, because again, we're not doing like such specific alignment, like here's your specific thing to share or to talk about. So let's talk about goals. The number one thing to think about for goal one is you are not here to create people that follow you or are inspired by you, because as we all know in this business, the people are so inspired by you, but they're not willing to do anything. They're not going to become clients, and they're not going to become great coaches. So your goal is to empower others to see that light within themselves, to take action in their own lives, to become teachers and to become coaches also. So with that being said, we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit later. But this is where you think about, you can't make yourself the hero in every story. You need to think about who you were before, how you created that change, how Beachbody helped you create that change, how your community helped you create that change, how your personal development, all the things that we use as an everyday thing, how do you then pay it forward so that people can see, even with these baby steps, they too can become, someone that takes action. All right, so goal number 2, there we are. Okay, so I got this from Gabby Bernstein. I have to preface that. She calls these the 5 sutras. You can also call them like the 5 rules to live by. Rule number 1 is the work is never about you. As soon as you make yourself the star of the show and the one that everyone's looking up to, you get lost. Because at the end of the day, you're not here to have everyone look at you. You're here to serve and to share your light and to pay it forward. Because the people that show up in your life are actually a reflection of you, of your light and of your darkness. So if you can see that they're being brought to you to make you recognize some of those things so that you can then help them through that or help encourage them through that, that will keep you from, again, being that star of the show and not just creating followers. Rule number 2 is we all have a spiritual relationship of our own understanding. So again, I'm not saying you have to believe in God or you need to believe in, any form of, something bigger than yourself. But just recognize that when people come to you, you are basically the can opener. You're the person that helps them kind of open up those wounds or those struggles, and you help them get those worms out of there. So while you might not be personally doing it themselves, think of yourself as the can opener that you can then be willing to be imperfect. This is something that I tell people all the time. And I think it's really important, especially when you look around Beachbody and you see people who seemingly have their shit together. I'm sorry, I might swear a little bit. I hope you guys are okay with that. So it's kind of got to be like this F it let's go kind of mentality. You don't need to have this perfect body. You don't need to have the perfect marketing plan. You just need to take the action and just start. So I'm going to tell you more about content later, but that's where it needs to be. Okay, let's just do this and move. Rule number 4 is you are right where you need to be. So, you might look at someone, like me or like Marie or Kerri or whoever and think, okay, they're at this point. It's easy for them to sell. It's easy for them to recruit because they've achieved these certain things. And recognize that we all started at 0, right? We all started with 0 people, 0 clients, and we shared what we thought this business could be. And right where you are right now is where you're going to attract the other people that need you to be right there, whether it's in your fitness journey or in your coach journey. But accept that and share anyways. So number 5 is when you shine bright, you give the others a chance to do the same. And so many of us, especially women, you get caught up in the, well, I don't want to be too good, or I don't want to, I think we get stuck on that sometimes. And if you can show other people, and this is especially as a leadership role, if you can show your team of what's possible, then they think it's possible too. Or if you can lose those 5 pounds that you've been stuck on, other people see the chance. Or whether it's even you love pizza and you have it every Friday and all of a sudden you start transitioning to veggies. Simple things like that are allowing yourself to shine, and that's where then you attract those other people. Okie dokie. Goal number 3. Let's see. Okay. Keep it real. Keep it real, sister. So the struggle is real with congruence, right? And I know even someone in this group who's been called out for being incongruent, which for me, that means like, what we sell this lifestyle, right? And that's really what we do. When you're doing attraction marketing, you're not selling a product, you're selling a solution and you're selling a lifestyle. So if you keep saying how great Beachbody is and how great it makes you feel and how you are in your perfect shape and you keep losing weight, but all of a sudden you keep losing those same 5 pounds over and over again, or you're not reading your personal development and you're stuck in really old shitty patterns that keep you exactly where you are, how hard is it to share your life because you feel like a hot mess? You're really not making any sort of progress, and people see that and they see your bullshit. And so it's a situation, if you're truly committed to wanting to have it start with you, to being real, to being authentic and living with integrity, it needs to be a place that you're committed to making the difference. That integrity has to begin with you. So if you're half-assed doing a program, if you're drinking your Shakeology 4 days a week, if you're, like only reading personal development once a week or listening to a podcast every once in a while, you have to call yourself out on your bullshit, and you have to look in the mirror and say, I know why my business isn't moving. I know why I'm not helping clients. It's because you're not doing it yourself. And that's sometimes the hardest part. But at the same time, your business won't go anywhere if you're not willing to live with that type of integrity. So I mentioned this earlier, but no one will ever really want to buy from you unless they feel like they know you, they like you, and they trust you, which means they need to know these 3 things about you. We call them the 3 L's. It's from this awesome life coach named Rock Goddess. Isn't that a cool name, you guys? Anyway, so it's number 1 is how you live is about what you value, your principles, and your convictions. How often do you talk about those things? How often do your clients and your coaches really see you sharing about that part of your life? Like, do they know what your values and your morals are? Or are you too scared to talk about it because you don't want to push people away? Well, the goal in what we do is to bring the people in that get us, that are like, I am ride or die with this girl. I don't even know her, but she's my person. And I think it's really important that and then it pushes the people away that aren't your people, that aren't your tribe, because truly, I don't know how long many of you have been doing this, but it is freaking exhausting to just attract so many people. And then there's the few that drain you. They are the energy vampires that need their hand held on everything, that will not, make a shake that they feel like they can actually drink, or, you know what I mean? They're just the negativity committee. And it makes you hate your job. It makes you hate coaching. And that's not why we did this. So again, if you can share these 3 L's authentically and just in the posts that you do, you will bring in your tribe and you will push away the people that are not like you. So number 2 is how you love. You're here on this earth, and Beachbody was put in front of you for a reason to share this with every person you come in contact with. And I think this has been a shift, and why my business was able to do what it did so quickly is I honestly believe that any single person I met, I could help. If you have financial issues, if you have weight issues, if you have poor mindset struggles, if you're a mom, if you need to be out of debt, you literally can walk up to anyone on the street and help them in some way. Everyone has their pain points. So how can you help? So when you think through this, what you love, this is a combination of the things that you're really good at, the things that people come to you for, even though you would never be paid for it. Like, what would your neighbor or your best friend consistently text you about? And the things that you're just naturally good at, your natural abilities. These are the things you would do for free. So be making lists of these things, and you should be talking about it in your posting. Number 3 is, what kind of a leader do you want to be? So the things that are your struggles in life, or those challenges that come on, how do you lean into that? Where can you really feel like you make the most impact? And I feel like Kerri's really good at sharing this, especially with the things that really inspire her, that you just know. Like, you know that it is about more than herself, and there's a deeper meaning to what she's doing. And there's no question to that. And so you want to attract people that have a heart like yours, whether, I think a heart of contribution and a heart of service is what really keeps you around and growing in this business. Otherwise, if it's just about the money, you're in and you're out, because it's a lot of hard work if you're just trying to make money with this and not serve people. So remember that people will choose real over perfect any day of the week. Goal number 4, this is the fun. I'm sure some of you have done this, but I want to have you approach it in a different way. So this is clarity on your client, or clarity on your ideal avatar. I've been doing this process, and I feel like it's really been working for me. So write them a love letter. And this love letter is going to consist of, I see you. So like, if you were writing your ideal client a love letter, you would want them to feel seen. You would want them to know, like, I know what you need. I know what your pain points are. I know what your fears are. And here's how I'm going to help. So physically do this exercise. And then when you read it, have it make you freaking like fill up, right? Like, have that emotion with it. Like, man, this is a reason why I'm doing this. So you need to be madly in love with this client that you want to help. So make sure that it speaks to the person that you were before you started this business, or any hardships you've potentially been through. Like, for me, it was, I loved using my brain and being challenged, and kids challenged me in a different way, but I needed something to have growth with, for these higher level human needs. Is it about the weight loss when you look in the mirror and you feel just like disgusted and you talk awful to yourself because that's how you feel? Like, how can you, or like, even for example, one of my passions is to help bring healthy eating and mindset into the whole family, not just have it be for mom, but have it be a way to pay it forward to their kids too. So how can you incorporate more of that? So can you visualize a mom feeling so freaking stressed out that she snapped at her kids again and yelled, and now she regrets it? And now her, 5-year-old daughter is crying because mom just yelled at her again. How can you visually see mom saying, okay, I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to count to 10, and her little girl coming to sit with her and them both breathing together? Not only is mom now finding a way to calm herself down and hopefully do it better next time, but she's showing her little girl actions and ways to now deal with life so much earlier than she learned it. She learned it in her 30s. Her little girl's going to learn it in her, when she's 5. And so I can visually see those two people sitting together, and I have that. So what is your vision of really this person that you're madly in love with? What's your vision of that? So if you read it every night and you see these people, that will wake you up in the morning with a sense of purpose. And that's really important if you want to wake up and you want to do something great. So I think it's important always to remember, at the end of the day, the money comes when you serve more people. Okay. So I also wanted to add this in here. I don't think there's a note for it, but I write a desires list every day after I meditate in the morning. And it changes every day. Like I don't like look back at what yesterday's was. So, it might be different every day, but the two things I always write, no matter what, I mean, there's other things I write, but these are, when it comes to my business, I desire to easily attract my ideal client and tribe, independently driven people with a heart to serve, integrity, authenticity, creativity, brilliance, humbleness, and grace. Like I always describe what I want, in my ideal. And I always say desire to easily attract. Don't you want it to be easy for these people to come to you? And the more you repeat it, whether you think it's woo-woo or not, I truly believe once you create that shift in your mind, that's what the universe brings back to you. The second thing I always write is I desire to provide high-level content and service that is worthy of massive compensation. Again, it's about making more money, because none of us would be here well, maybe not all of us, but we need to make a living too. And if we're providing such service and hours of our time, which is a limited resource, it needs to be worth something. So don't you want the value that you provide to be worthy of massive compensation? Of course, you don't want it to be worth pennies. You want it to be worth something huge, because then you're making a difference. All right, next goal. Moving along. I'm not trying to waste your time, guys. Okay, so this is this is where I also feel like I've had a lot of growth in my business, is giving things away for free. And you're not going to give everything away for free, but it's really important if you want to attract your tribe, you need to be learning all the time. So I keep my notebook with me, and step one is find an idea. So if you see something that's consistently coming up, whether it's in your challenge groups, in any other groups that you're a part of, in your everyday life, in your mom's group, or whatever, maybe other communities you're a part of, what are they talking about? What is the thing that consistently comes up? What is their struggle? What is their pain point? So where are they struggling? Write that stuff down. So for me, it was like people who hit plateaus, and they felt like they couldn't get into it. That's where I started learning about intermittent fasting and macros and being able to provide a higher level service to my clients. This is also where I learned about different types of meditation, right? So you could do a meditation group. You could do even a book. There's so many other things that can come up for you. So what is it for you that is a pain point for you that you want to learn more about? Because your people will want to know more about it too. So within that, you want to offer a relief and solution. So have you ever gotten an email? I get these a lot from who are some people like Brianna Rose, or obviously Gabby Bernstein's another one, Amanda Francis. When I get emails from those people, a lot of times I'm like, holy shit, they're reading my mind, right? So if you've ever kind of had that process, that's where again, this is something that if it's speaking to you, it will speak to your people. So use that for ideas. And you also want to be that person to other people, right? That when you post something and you talk about your pain point and you offer the solution, they're like, okay, this is it. I have to sign up for it. So the other thing I wanted to mention to you, find the pain point and then flip it. So, if it's something that you're struggling with, I don't know, making time to, I guess, work out. I'm trying to think of something deeper also that I've done. Like, I've done so many free groups through the years that aren't just like Beachbody focused. So, but find that pain point. So even if it's something like, I'm so inflexible, or I'm so stressed out all the time, those all can then become your group names. So, just create the solution within the name from the pain point that you did. Oh, I hear some footsteps. I still have children up. My kids now are 3, 6, and 7. I'll have a 4-year-old next week. It's crazy. All right. So step 2 is create that mini course. I like to do mini courses on Thinkific because then you can reuse them. And then you potentially can start charging if people are super into them. Even if it's only $5, it's another way to get an income source into your business. All right. And Thinkific, I personally have my coach training groups in there because they're self-paced, and then you can switch them around and it looks very professional, and it's free. Thinkific is free, so you don't have to use this. Obviously, you can also use Facebook groups. If you have a like page, create the group and the event through your business page. So then again, it's more professional. You can also use things like, my challenge tracker. If you're using that regularly, use that for your clients as a free way to get people in. So step 3 is promote it. I personally, unless a post really gets a lot of traction, I'm not currently paying anything for any advertising. And I used to, don't get me wrong, but I have found, at least through what I'm doing and regularly hitting numbers, that right now, if doing what I'm doing with posting, I don't need to pay for anything. And I'm not telling you to stop paying. I'm just telling you to get a little bit more aware of where and how you're spending your money. So I think the best way to spend your money is promoting your free groups, promoting and providing value to someone for free so you earn their trust, they get to know you like you, and then you can show them what kind of person you are. I do rarely, if ever, pay for ads that aren't promoting my free group. So when you're doing it, kind of get a schedule to it, where Monday you're going to do a live video, Tuesday you're going to do a meme. Again, change up the time, do one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening on different days. Make sure there's a great content post. You can use a testimonial from other clients you've helped, and then just do a video talking about why it's so important to you. So step 4 is show up and serve at your highest level possible. You have to go all out with these free groups if you really want people to come into your squad. And then the last step is you kind of dangle the carrot, right? Like, you love this group. Don't you want to feel better? My VIP clients will get X, Y, and Z. So you have to hold off a little bit. But if you really can provide great value in that week, you will have people ready to go. So again, leave out some content, dangle that carrot. And then as people sign up, make a list right away to say, so-and-so signed up. Create that, FOMO in the group so that people want to get going. Okay, so the last goal today, 6 goals let's see. Okay, whoops, we don't want that. That's the last slide. So the last one is goal 6. So this is where you kind of do that social media mastery and connection. So the tips I'm using, again, because I feel like a lot of these things have been talked about, but maybe this is a different way to potentially shift. Answer all these questions in your notebook. Take the time, share with your upline, share with your success partner, and let them kind of give you some feedback. But pretend like social media is your talk show and your ideal people are in the audience, like the people that you can't wait to work with. What show would you watch? Would you watch your social media show, or would you flip the channel? What topics would you talk about? What things are on Oprah where people are sobbing or jumping up and down because they're so freaking excited? What kind of things make you feel like that? So I think it's important to recognize too that these are people that can't wait to hear your message, because when you have that timidity, I guess, if you're so timid that you can't share that true story of what lights your soul up, that makes you feel like, gosh, this is really important to me, and you're scared to do it, you're not going to attract the real people into your tribe. So think about that stuff that does get you, really excited to live your life, right? Or the things that you just can't wait to learn more about. With that being said, I have to preface, if it's a hot topic, right? Like whether it's religion or politics, or social issues that are very fiery, I think it's important to put yourself out there in a high energy space. And if there is debate below, you don't get involved. You want to, at least this is my opinion, and you guys can obviously disagree with me. I think it's important to create conversation in a respectful manner. So you don't want to do inflammatory things that will make even people who are neutral turn you off, right? So just process it saying, if I read this and I felt on the other side, would I feel respected and heard? Or would I be like, this person is a bigot or ignorant or whatever, delete, right? Because again, you want to attract your tribe, and you want to turn off the people that are not like you, but you need to do it in a way that really shows your integrity and your character, okay? So your post should always inspire, educate, or do something to make you smile. So remember, it doesn't have to be all original content. If you read a post from someone else that, you're like, damn, this is good, share it. And then in the beginning, talk about why you're sharing it and why it's important to you. Ask a question. Before you post, always do the self-check, because at the end of the day, you are your ideal client and tribe. So, the things that are your dark and your light, the same people are showing up for you. So would you like it? Is it helpful? Is it something that you're like, yeah, okay, I could see myself resonating with this? That has to be your number one thing before you post something. Because if you post it and then you regret it, delete it, because you don't need that stuff on there. You don't need to fill up your social media feed, especially with how the algorithm is. You know, you want people that are going to be connecting and engaging, not just putting up those 3 to 5 posts a day because you feel like you should. Make it quality, make it something that, you know, you really, that either inspires you, educates, or just makes you feel good about life. All right. So, you know, remember that, you know, when you're moved by your message will move the masses and be magnetic for those people that you really want to bring in. So again, this is great woo-woo. This is great type of, you know, do some work. But at the end of the day, you have to provide this high-level content. So that inspiration will come to provide more and more and more. But at the end of the day, you still need to be hitting those numbers, showing up for your business, doing your power hour, drinking your shake, you know, doing your workout, reading your personal development, because all of this stuff will not move your business forward if you're not doing those foundational things. All right. So there we are. Hi guys, I get like breathless. Thanks.
That was awesome. I've taken so many notes, and that was awesome. Thank you so much. That was everything I think that all of us needed to hear. You're such a breath of fresh air. Thank you so much for giving us all those bombs of knowledge. So I do have a question for you. What was some of the names of the mini groups? Were those other apps that you were putting mini groups on? Or you said mini groups, and then they were like different. Were those different apps where you're putting mini groups, not on Facebook, or what were those things? I think there was a slide that was talking about that.
Yeah, of course I can share this. I just saw Megan's comment. So Thinkific, it's I'll just type it in. It's basically like a free website. And I have all my coach trainings in here, like the Push to Emeralds. I do my free groups in here. Like I even just signed up for like a Kundalini Kriya practice on there for 40 days. And so you can go in every day. Oh, that's awesome, Kerri. We have to talk more about that, I feel like. So it's something very simple that, again, it can be a free share, and then people can go in, and the way I like to do it, man, someone is blowing me up. I apologize about that. So the way I like to do it is have a Ifexcite. So whether, you know, like let's say it's intermittent fasting, or let's say it's even crock pot meals, and you want to, you know, kind of have it be a progression. It's like a self-paced training site. So you can make it so people can only see one lesson a day, but then still to have that community atmosphere. You can either have them comment underneath a lesson, or you can have them comment in a Facebook group. It's kind of your call where you want to do it. But I love Ifexcites because you can create really good content. It's really professional looking. You can do videos, and then you also can see where people's progress is. So as a coach and as a leader, you know, if someone says, I'm doing all the work, you can be like, no, you're not. You're stuck on day 3. You haven't done day 20. Like you know, like.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Because I'm looking to,
Yeah.
Sorry, it froze up on here. Sorry about that. It's like all of a sudden it's going crazy. I don't know if you're not muted, make sure you're muted on there. But I took notes on that. And then, yeah, because I'm trying to pull a lot of my groups off of Facebook. I feel like we are kind of blowing up people's Facebooks, and they're getting lost in what's what. So I'm definitely looking for some other ideas on that. So thank you so much for that. And when we were talking today, you also shared with me, those of us that have Zoom, what was the thing that you were telling me again? I actually didn't write that down, about how you could use Zoom and then do a screen share. For the leaders on here, this might be very useful. So when you go live on Facebook, you can go live on Facebook in your training groups, but you can share your screen like you would be doing on a Zoom. What was that again that you were telling me about today?
So it's actually through Zoom, and it's the webinar feature on Zoom, and it's like $43 a month with the Beachbody discount. So if you are going to potentially do it with other leaders, you guys can just share, just unless you're using it all the time. And so you start the Zoom like this, and then there's an option to go live in Facebook, and you choose the group that you go into. So then people can not only interact in your Facebook group, like right now, this could be live live on your team page, you know, and then people could be commenting under there, or they can comment in here. And what's really nice about it is for the people who are just starting or like, what the heck is Zoom? I don't want to download another app or whatever, because there are so many things as a new coach, it still can create that community. And if in your coach groups, so like your challenge group, it's a good way to get people kind of seeing the things we do as coaches, and you can see the people showing up on Zoom, and those rise to the top of the list as great potential coach candidates, right? Because they're now interacting, but it's in the team page too. So yeah, it's through Zoom. It's called the webinar feature, and you just have to like contact Zoom account to do it.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I wasn't sure if Michelle and Kerri, you guys already knew about that. So definitely something to look into. And it looks like we have another question on here from Kay Bella. So when you are inviting people, how long do you wait before inviting? What is your signal, or what do you look for before you invite them? So how do you kind of lead into that?
So I think there's never like a timing, right? There is a script, right? Where if you're using the team script or whatever you have, and it's flowing with that, then you go with that, right? You do the invite right in with there. Like if someone comments on something that's a direct call to action, right? If it's a coaching or a challenge group call to action, those are easy responses, right? What we're talking about here are the people that have commented or liked some post that you've done, and that's what you see, what they've commented or liked on, then you right away know how you've connected. And so then, you kind of, what I start doing is I start kind of asking finding out what their pain points are. Are they busy moms? Are they someone, that seems to just kind of be struggling with finding happiness in their life? Do they like the fact that I traveled somewhere? I used to say, when's the last time you traveled somewhere? And you see what their pain points are. And then that can kind of be your lead-in, because they've obviously seen your page. This is not a cold invite type of a situation, right? So it's the type of thing where you already have seen where their interest lies, and then you can ask those leading type of questions to A, get to know someone better, right? And then B, find their pain point, and then that's where the invite comes in. Like, I see you'd love to travel. Gosh, I never really thought I'd be traveling either. But that's where I'm so thankful that, doing this little home health and fitness business on the side, now I get to travel whenever and wherever I want to with my little family. Is that something you think you'd ever want to do? I mean, that one's kind of a chachi one, I guess. But like, whether it's a pain point of, feeling tired all the time. Like, how many of us know, like, moms or even people who work full time that are freaking exhausted, and they talk about, their 2 p.m. slump, or, man, I have to hit the snooze button 10 times before I wake up. Hi, Kerri. And so, that's where you connect with people on their pain point and say, I think using the feel, felt, found type of method is really big, where you say, I totally understand how you feel. I felt that way because of X. But I found, using some form of a solution that we can provide, I found that this has totally made a difference for me. It's been a game changer for me. And so it's a way to, recognize where they are, but then still kind of, meet them in the ditch. People don't, all the highlight reels that we show on Facebook where we're so great and we're so toned and we're whatever, people see that stuff, but what they're really looking at is the before picture. They're wanting the story of in the ditch of when you felt like life sucked and you didn't know what you were going to do next. That's where people connect with you, not just the stuff. And I had to recognize that the hard way in my own business, because as soon as I was making 6 figures and I talked about it, I was attracting people that only wanted to make 6 figures in 17 months. And if they weren't doing it, quitting, right? Or I only was attracting people that were single moms that were so like victims. They didn't want to stand up and be the hero. They just wanted to see me as the hero. And so I attracted people who didn't want to do anything. They just wanted to be closer to me because they thought I could help save them. And so I think it's really important on these things is make sure to share the shit. Share the things that are hard, that make you want to cry, that make you feel like you're a shitty mom or you're really bad at this business, or why you might want to quit some days, or, if you don't connect with people on their pain point, then they're not even really going to care about the story where you look so perfect, because we all know that most of the stuff is a facade anyways, right? Sorry, I went up on my tangent, but did I answer your question? Sorry, guys.
That was really good. I have another question for you if we have time really quick. Let's see.
No one's screaming.
Kerri, can you unmute Lisa?
You guys.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Give me a sec. I'm looking. Oh, there you are. Thanks, buddy.
Hi,
That's my
can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, you're Aunt Lisa. Hi, Aunt Lisa.
Aunt Lisa. Hi, I'm Suzy's sister. You can probably see the resemblance. So I have a question. So I'm just starting and I'm listening to all this stuff, and I have a very successful home business beside this. So a lot of people that I meet are on my business front. And so they've asked me about this. I'm a retired teacher. Well, I'm a retired teacher and administrator, so I have my own piano vocal studio. So I meet with a lot of parents, right? Because they bring their kids to me. So when they ask me about this, I tell them about it and everything, and then I try to see if they want more information, and I give them the more information, and then they pull away, especially when they see the cost. So my question is, I haven't been able to, like, a lot of people tell me they're interested, but then they're not able to maybe afford it. So I talk about all the things about, well, if you were at a gym, you would be paying double that, or so forth and so on. I also talk about how time is limited. I do that a lot, and people have been loving my posts that I've been doing, but I can't seem to just get someone to commit. So what advice do you have, especially for people over 50, not moms, and, I have older parents actually that bring their older kids. So what do you advise for us just starting out, and not to be a pest and push them away? Because I almost feel like that's happening, and I don't want to ruin my other business that's successful. So how do I do? Yeah. So give me a good answer.
Right. So I guess I've got some for you. I've got some stuff.
Good.
So write this down. Number one is stop word vomiting, right?
Okay.
Start asking questions. Don't try to sell or give more information until you actually know what people's pain point is. Like, if you don't know what's going on and why they're struggling and how long they've struggled for, especially, there are some people who are like, I want to do what you're doing, sign me up. Those people do come along, but those people usually come along after they've proven, and you've proven, that it works. And when you're a brand new coach, really, what is your story? Do you have a Shakeology story? Do you have a transition story, a transformation story? And if you don't, this is where you need to start asking questions and being a better listener, getting really good at saying, well, why would you even be interested in this before you give any information? I actually, when people ask cost, I deflect, and do not give an answer at all until I know why they even care. Why do they even care to want to know? And so that's number one thing, is stop the word vomiting. I'm saying that as kindly as possible. So let me give you a quick story. When I started, I loved Shakeology so much because I was pregnant and nursing, and holy guacamole, this was the best stuff ever. My midwife approved it. I didn't need a prenatal, and I needed to tell everyone, right? Best stuff in the world. So I sent an email out to 100 people, including friends and family and people that I thought would love it. You know how many people bought? Because it was like 10 paragraphs, probably. 0. I literally got 0 people from that email that I was so diehard about how awesome this stuff was, because I didn't share. I didn't know anything about what they needed. So don't get disheartened, number one. I think that's a big thing, but stop the word. Ask questions to become better listeners. Number two, typically people's objections are actually a reflection of your own objection. You still kind of think Shakeology is too expensive. Is there a part of you that's like, oh God, I really love this stuff, but is it really worth $3? And if you can honestly say no, I think it's completely worth the value.
I can honestly say no.
That's awesome. I just typically notice when the objections I get, there's a level of inside me saying, no, you're right. Like, you know what, maybe this won't work for them because it is kind of expensive. So this means you're not posting about that. Bonnie Engel did a really good training when I was a newer coach, that she was like, every objection you get, make a post about it. And so it doesn't have to be, Sarah said Shakeology is too expensive. It can be something like, man, every day I wake up and think, is this stuff worth it? You know, like, is it really worth the $3.80, whatever it is, and I personally use the coach discount price. That's just how I personally share the cost of Shakeology. But you don't have to do that. You can do $5 and then say, when I compare it to what is my healthiest meal of the day, how much that would cost, or if I went through a drive-through, or the ease of it, like, how can you think about sharing the value of Shakeology in different ways without using a stock photo, without being salesy? Just use the objection that people give. Like, I don't know. I just don't know if
what I've done is I've compared it to when I went to my own personal coach, and how I had worked out for over a year with a personal coach and spent tons and tons of money on that and never saw the results. And now I'm seeing results doing it in my house, only spending 20 to 30 minutes and changing how I eat. And that's the approach I give them when they bring up money. So I tell them I'm saving money. That's what I tell them. And it seems
these are all
to
different posts.
Right.
These are all different posts. And I'm not sure if your
this
clients
is in person.
find you on
This is actually in person.
Right.
No, yeah, this is actually in
Do any
person.
of your clients find you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Are any of your clients friends with you on Facebook? Or
Yes.
they are? So this is where, well, how much is it? And you find the pain point first, think through, like, how much is the healthiest meal you're eating a day? Is what you're doing currently working for you? I found that I save money on my groceries, but I think it's important to only give kind of one thing, but you have to know their pain point first, because if they are like, well, what are you doing and how much is it? Be like, well, why do you think you're interested in it? And so then find that pain point, and then you can use that as your selling point. Like, well, I've tried so much and it's not working. Well, how much would it be worth for you to try this? How much is your health worth to you? Plus you have 30 days. You can try it and get all of your money back, even if you return an empty bag. That 30-day guarantee is a really big one for everyone who's kind of uneasy about a protein shake, because they don't know how it's going to taste like, or going to work for them. And say, I guarantee that after 30 days, you will feel better and have more energy, or please return it. I don't want you to have something that's not working for you.
Right.
And really kind of, be very solid about that 30-day money back.
Okay.
So yeah, use your objections as posts just in general, because then it will get you better at talking about the price or the time, or, how nothing else worked, and use that, use it as a way to kind of get more educated. And then I have something in my group, I can always share it with Marie too, or Kerri, it's the Shakeology price objections. And there's so many different ones that if you don't feel like you can do it in person, right? If you feel like you're word vomiting potentially, you're like, you know what, I have some really great stuff. Can I send it to you? But again, know kind of what their main objection is first, because sometimes reading it is better than trying to have someone tell you face to face, and then they get uncomfortable if they want to disagree with you, or, so that's another really good way to be like, I'm not sure, but I have something I can send you that gives you more information. Would you like to see that? Yeah. That's something else.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was awesome. That was awesome. And plus, Lisa, kudos to you, because she's been a coach for like 2 weeks and already has like a huge list of people that she's been emailing to talk to. So don't worry, girlfriend. And my favorite. It took me 6 months to change one life, so don't worry.
And I've also followed up with them.
No.
So
yeah, you're doing really good. Does anyone else have any questions before we jump off tonight? I know it's getting late, especially
and
for us
if you have
posters.
That I know some of you guys are really on a strict time schedule, so go ahead and we need to do hearts. We need to do hearts for what?
Oh geez, okay. I'm trying to hold the phone. Hold on. Just a minute.
I want to see your beautiful face. Kay, Bay, Kristen, Steve, Tara, get your stuff in here.
Feel it.
Love. I'm holding this and I can't do this, otherwise it looks like I'm doing thumbs down. You see what I mean? So
yeah, no, don't give me this, Kerri. I know where to find you.
I know.
I did it this way.
That'll work. Okay, Kristen, I'm gonna put you in as like a unicorn or as a like tiger or something fun. You won't know what you're gonna be. It'll be a surprise. Everyone, I hope you have a great night. Thank you so much for your time. I know Monday nights are valuable because every moment is valuable. So thank you for getting on, Wendy.
Thank you.
And my boo. By the way, we met in a
Love
bar,
you guys.
and I was a little.
I think I figured